So now that we've gone through the trouble of making a 12-tone matrix, 12-tone row matrix, it might be time to talk about what we can call these rows, okay? And how we can talk about these to make more music. If we look at our first row that we've initially done, this is called P-0. You label it as P-0. So P-0 in this matrix is this row here, going from left to right across the way, starting on 0. P means we're going this way, and 0 means we're starting on the one that starts with 0. Okay, so that would be this row right here. Okay, I hope that's clear. Okay, if we were to use any other one, we simply label them as P dash whatever number is here. Okay, so this one, I'll even use the same color here. This is P dash 9. This one's P dash 7. Okay, P dash 7. Okay, and so on and so forth. Okay, so if you wanted to use these rows, then they would be labeled as such. I can leave those, I guess. Okay. So that's how you can label going across is P. The P stands for prime. P for prime. Okay, so these are prime rows going across from left to right. Now, we talked about going backwards earlier. These are called retrograde. If you go backwards, it's called retrograde. So let's go ahead and write retrograde here. Retrograde. Because we're going backwards. And so retrograde is like this. So you might say, oh, well, if I go backwards this way, that's super easy. All we have to do is write R dash, oops, I guess this we write it forward, right? R dash 4, right? It's R dash 4. It's retrograde starting on 4. And I understand your logic there, but that's actually incorrect. What you do instead is you call it R dash 0. The first one is R dash 0 because it ends in 0, okay? If you're using retrograde, you still call it by its prime form. So this one is not R-1, but R-9. R-9. This one is R, I'll even use the same color this time, R-7, okay, is this row, if you start going from there to there. That would be if you started with B and you went 5, 3, 6, 8, 2, 1, 9, 4, 0, A, 7 would be R-7. Okay, so this is this row, this is that row, and so on and so forth. Okay, so down here, let's just go one more crazy example all the way at the bottom. This is R-8 because we're ending in 8, and that's if you go this way. If you were to go left to right, it would be P-8. Okay, they're both 8s. Okay, so two more ways to go, either up to down or down to up. So let's go ahead and talk about those. If you were to take any of these rows and go this way, remember all the trouble we had of inverting? This is called inversion. It does all the work for us. So if you wanted to make an entire matrix to figure out the inversion of a row, you can. In fact, if you were to take this one here, 0973A is, and so on and so forth, is the inversion of 03592, that kind of thing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this is called I dash whatever, and this is I dash, this one here, for example, is I dash 9, would be going this way. Okay, 964073288A1B5. Remember, to use a 12-tone row correctly, you have to use all 12 notes before moving onto a new one. Okay, so I-9 would be going down here. This one here that I've already put an arrow to is I dash, let me get a different color that doesn't look like our title there, is I dash 0, inversion dash 0. Okay, and we talked about one more way of altering our notes here. Our tone rows here, and that's to go up instead. If you go up instead, this is called RI for retrograde inversion. Retrograde, let me move over just so we have a little bit of room there. Retrograde inversion. So it makes it really simple to see all your retrograde inversions, all your inversions. This matrix kind of all works, and we'll talk about it in a second, why you would ever want to do this. Go through the hassle of doing all this. Oops, inversion. There we go. Okay, so this row here that I've put an arrow to, starting A4, 6, that kind of thing, is RI-2. RI-2. Because it ends in 2, just similar to our retrograde. If you use retrograde, you have to call it by the left or the top. Okay, so maybe I can do this a little bit. Maybe I think this will make sense. If I do that and turn the opacity down, maybe I can color in here. Yeah, like this. Okay, so these are the numbers. This is the area that you would be calling from to label. You never use anything besides these. Okay, so if you're using R-0, it would be here, right? Because you're using this. Okay, I'm sorry, but you're not going to use this one. I hope that's clear. Okay, even though it's labeled as such. It's labeled as such for Ri, right? An R and Ri. Okay, Ri. Oops, Ri dash, not R dash I. Okay, so this would be Ri dash 4, just like this would be R dash, I'm sorry, this would be, this would be, cross this out, this would be I dash 4 going down. Okay, so the reason you'd want to do this, the reason you'd want to make so many tone rows, after all, we do have 12 going across, 12 prime rows, 12 inverted rows, 12 retrograde inversions, and 12 retrograde rows. So we have a total of 48 rows. Let me go back to the other layer so I'm not, okay, 48 rows. The reason, or let me just go all the way back and then undo all that. There we go. 40, nope, okay. We have a total of 48 rows, and these 48 rows are seen as related material. Remember how we had like a major scale having like C major, and we could talk about like how it had a 1 chord and a 4 chord and a 5 chord and so on and so forth? We can do the same thing with related material by talking about these 48 rows. Okay, so we'll see this later in another video, but that's how you label the rows in a 12-tone row matrix.